All right, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. I live off grid in this little cabin in the woods. I had a baby 6 months ago, and today we're gonna talk all about breastfeeding tips, what I went through as a first-time mom, and everything that I think other people should know and share my experience. I've been wanting to record this video for so long, but sit-down videos are so hard with a baby, and also I have 2 dogs. If you hear frisbee dropping over and over again, it's just Jackie boy wanting to play some frizz. I've been wanting to record this video for so long, but I just don't want to forget anything. Like, that's my biggest thing, is like, I need to have everything written down. I don't want to leave anything out, but I just got to do it. So Roan just turned 6 months old yesterday, and we've had an amazing breastfeeding journey so far, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon. So I put a question box on my Instagram. If you don't follow me yet, you can go follow me over there. But I'm gonna answer all of your questions, and also I've taken notes throughout my breastfeeding journey of things that I wish I knew or that I think other people should know. So we're just gonna jump right in so we can get through this video without a screaming baby. So if you're watching this, you're probably pregnant or maybe just had a baby, and my biggest first tip is educate yourself. Breastfeeding, although it is so natural and so primal, it does not come naturally. You need to educate yourself so you know what to expect when your baby pops out. If you go into your breastfeeding journey having done no research at all, you are going to feel lost, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to have no idea what to do, and you're going to be worried that your baby's not getting enough milk. That's the biggest thing. People even come to me. I'm no breastfeeding expert. I'm not a lactation consultant. This is just how I've self-educated and what I've been through, but so many people come to me like, how do you build up your supply? Like, how do you make sure baby's getting enough? But the thing is, your body is made for this. Like, okay, we'll get into that in a second. You need to educate yourself, okay? So that means for me, what I enjoyed and how I liked educating myself is following lactation consultants on Instagram. So I will put up my 2 favorite here. I just follow them, and that way it's not overwhelming. I get a little piece of information here and there whenever I want to. And also the Built to Birth YouTube, she is amazing. Follow her on Instagram and YouTube. They were so helpful for labor, birth, pregnancy, and postpartum. So first things first, educate yourself. Take a course. There's free courses online. There's YouTube videos. You need to learn as much as you can about breastfeeding, about how your body works, how it's made to work, how babies latch, everything. You need to learn that before you give birth. That's my #1 tip, educate yourself. Next, at like my 37-week appointment, my midwife was like, all right, start toughening up your nipples. And I'm like, okay. Like, she's like, quit wearing a bra, like rub your shirt against your nipples. You're gonna wanna start toughening them up. And I don't know if that really works in the forefront, but your nipples, they're gonna go through it, man. Like, your nipples. That is the hardest part of breastfeeding, hands down, is your nipples. They will feel like there are glass shards being slashed across your nipples. Those first 2 weeks, they're gonna go through it, okay? And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really bad. But once your baby gets a good latch and your nipples are used to being sucked on every 2 to 3 hours, then it'll get better. It will get better. Put on your nipple cream. I was so bad about this. I never put on my nipple cream, and I'd be like, my nipples hurt so bad. I never put on my nipple cream, and then I would put on nipple cream and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Buy nipple cream. I don't care what kind it is. Put nipple cream on after every single feeding. It's safe for you. It's safe for the baby. Your nipples are gonna hurt. Your nipples are really gonna hurt, and so expect that. Get ready for that. It literally feels like glass shards. Now, it should not hurt forever. It shouldn't hurt for long. If they keep hurting, then it's probably a latch issue. So let's get into latching. If you look into breastfeeding at all, you always hear about the latch. You need a good 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 latch. You do need a good latch. But for me, in my head, for some reason, whenever I heard that, I thought the baby needs to learn to latch. Yes. But for some reason, it never clicked that that process meant putting the baby on your boob. If it hurts, taking the baby off your boob and doing it again, and doing it again, and doing it again, until you get a good latch. And then you'll have to do that every single time you feed until the baby really learns to latch. For me, I just thought like, he'll get it, you know, he'll get a good latch. But it means removing, the baby will be eating and it will hurt, and then you have to remove the baby and do it all again. Now in the beginning, this is really difficult, it's really hard, and the hardest part for me was that it hurt so bad to remove the baby off my boob once he was eating that I didn't want to re-latch because I didn't want to take him off. You can shove your finger, shove your finger into his gums so that the latch breaks. But man, he's a hard sucker and it would really hurt. But you have to do that because you need a good latch, otherwise your nipples will feel like they're going to fall off and shrivel up and die. So you have to get a good latch, which means taking the baby on and off every time until a good latch is secured. Have the baby, it's beautiful, hopefully you're doing skin to skin, and you want your baby to start suckling. That's every mom, breastfeeding mom's dream. The baby starts suckling right away. I had to go get a D&C because my placenta didn't come out, so Dylan did tons of skin to skin time, which was awesome for him, but I never got to like try to breastfeed or anything until like 6-7 hours after giving birth, which sucks, but we never had to supplement or anything, so it was just a lot of commotion. Anyways, I went to go latch the baby, and it is so foreign. It wasn't really natural at all for me, even though I really wanted to breastfeed. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. And so a nurse comes in, and literally I just like was trying to put my boob in the baby's mouth, which is what it sounds like you should do. But you need help. Take the nurse's help. Be naked. That's another one. I, for some godforsaken reason, had a nursing bra on while I was in labor and while I gave birth. I think I gave birth so quickly that I didn't have time to take my bra off. And so I wish I didn't have a bra on because that was really difficult after giving birth. And with breastfeeding and everything, like just take all your clothes off. Be completely naked. No one cares. But anyways, you need to have that nurse in there, ask for help getting a latch. It is going to take a couple tries. The nurse is going to come back in, ask how it's going. Tell her it's not going well, I need help, I need help, I need help. She's going to show you different positions, hopefully, on how to get the baby to latch. And so Roan would latch on one side, but not the other at all. So I really wanted to get it going. So I still would feed each side because I wanted my milk to come in equally on each sides. And so it really hurt, and it was really hard, and he probably wasn't getting much there at the beginning, but it's okay because you just have to practice. The biggest thing is to not stress. Do not stress. Do not worry that your baby's not getting enough. Do not worry about that. Your baby is going to get exactly what he needs from your boob. It is completely normal for babies to lose weight in those first 2 weeks, but you just have to feed the baby on demand. I have a talker, okay? He's definitely a talker. You want to feed the baby on demand. This ensures that you're always making enough milk for your baby and how much he or she needs. Feed on demand sounds like you have no control or no schedule, no routine, but in reality, do you want to feed on demand? Do you want to only eat at these 3 times a day? No, you want to eat when you're hungry, and your baby wants to eat when he's hungry. Watching your baby's cues and knowing when to feed him, you'll learn as you go. But basically, for me, anytime the baby is fussy or seems tired, seems fussy, feed your baby. Put a boob in the mouth anytime they seem upset because they're usually either hungry or tired. And if they're tired, they will fall asleep on the boob. So many, everything's gonna tell you to like eat, play, sleep and not feed your baby to sleep. Well, I can understand that if someone else needs, I don't really understand it at all. I don't know why it's so easy to feed your baby to sleep. Just feed your baby to sleep. It drives me crazy. Kind of getting all over the place here. I'm gonna try to reel it back in. So we were at ask your nurse for help, get help if you need it, go back to the hospital, get help, get a lactation consultant, get a lactation consultant if you need one. But it takes work, it takes education, and it takes pain to learn to breastfeed. And so just be ready for that. Some babies are easier than others. So some babies will latch really easily, will have no problem. Some babies might have a tongue tie or other things that you need to look at to be sure that breastfeeding goes well for you. So just get educated. So many moms want to know like how to produce more milk, how to make sure the baby's getting enough in those first couple weeks. Like I said, just feed on demand. Anytime your baby's fussy, feed your baby. You don't need to only do it every 2 hours, only do it every 3 hours. If your baby is upset, feed your baby. They will tell you when they're hungry. Another thing is to make sure your milk production is getting rolling is lots and lots of skin to skin time. So if you're home, just don't even worry about ever wearing a shirt. Wear a nursing bra and have tons and tons of skin to skin time with your baby. Put them in a carrier, wear them around. So I always noticed that I was producing a lot more milk whenever I wore him, like put him in a baby carrier and wore him around. Skin to skin time, that's gonna make you produce plenty of milk. Also, don't base how much milk you're producing on how much is coming out of your breast pump if you're pumping. So that is not an indicator of how much milk your baby is getting. They are way more efficient at getting milk out of your breast than a breast pump is. Now on to nursing bras, breast pumps, all those things. So at first, your milk isn't even in yet in the hospital. You're just producing colostrum, which is like gold to the baby. It's amazing, so you want to keep feeding even though you might think nothing's coming out. Little tiny amounts are coming out, and it's really important for your baby to get that. And then your milk is gonna come in and you're gonna be like, what is going on? What is going on? Your boobs are gonna be ginormous. They're gonna be rock hard. They're gonna be so uncomfortable, completely engorged. And when that happens, you gotta get that milk out of there, get it moving. Feed your baby every chance you get. If that's not enough, sometimes it's not enough at all. Get in the shower, start hand expressing. I would definitely learn to hand express. It's literally like you're milking a cow. And hand express in the shower, massage all around your boobs because you don't want to get any clogged ducts or metastasis. Not good. So you got to keep your milk moving. Your boobs are not for storing milk, they're for moving milk. So you always got to move the milk that's in there. So you can also pump when you get home, but you don't want to over pump or anything like that because you'll create an oversupply and your boobs will stay engorged. So you don't want that. You just want to pump enough where you get relief in those first couple of days because so much milk is going to come in. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. You were made for this. You were made for this. Women have done it for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and you can do this too, and it gets so much easier over time. You just have to learn what you're doing. Nothing's easy the first time, so you got it. When it comes to nursing bras, I bought one nursing bra for during like pregnancy. So your boobs are gonna get really big during pregnancy, and then your milk is gonna come in and they're gonna get even bigger. And then your milk will regulate and your boobs will go back down to a normal size. So it's really hard when deciding what nursing bras to buy. I found that I prefer just the most simple nursing bra, just like super soft. You're not gonna want a wire. You're not gonna want like a hard strap around the bottom because it will literally push on your milk ducts and make it super uncomfortable, and it can cause like clogged milk ducts and it can hurt. So what I did was I ordered the Mandela, I think it's called, nursing bras. They were $11. I think they're up to like $17 now with inflation off of Amazon. I ordered 5 of them and they fit me all through all the different sizes because they're just super stretchy. They open in the front, they're a V. I'll have them linked down below. They're also in my Amazon storefront. But those were just simple, easy. You're not gonna wanna wear anything. You shouldn't even wear a shirt. Just have baby on skin to skin and don't worry about how it looks. Whenever you start going out and about and you want an actual bra on, then you can buy a different bra for that. But these are the bras you're gonna wear a majority of the time. You're gonna have to wear a bra while you're sleeping all day long, so you want it to be comfortable because for some people, your boobs leak all day long, all night long. That's how the case for me. So you're also gonna need nursing pads. Nursing pads are just little like almost like a pad, but in circles that go in your bra to soak up the milk that falls out. They also have little cups now you can buy, and you can also use the Haka while you're feeding. I didn't do this very much because I just found it more of a hassle than anything, and I also didn't need to store up milk. So if you are going back to work and you need to start a supply of milk, then I definitely recommend getting a Haka, getting those little cups you can put in your bra that literally hold the milk that just leaks throughout the day. Definitely do that so you can just store it up. But I found it more of a hassle than anything because I wasn't going back to work and I didn't need to stock up on milk. So also another good option is nursing tanks just to wear around the house because you can just unclip them. I really liked mine from Old Navy. Old Navy has a lot of good maternity stuff, and so nursing tanks are also great for just like wearing around the house. Pumps. So I wanted to get like the Willow or the Elvie. I originally thought I was going back to work, so I really wanted those, but then insurance only covered $100 of them, and they're like $500. So I ended up just getting the Mom Cozy. It is a cheap pump. It's only like $60 per pump. I got two, one for each boob. It works. I don't have anything to compare it to because I've never used any other pump. If you plan on being like an exclusive pumper, or you have to go to work and pump all day, if you plan to be pumping a lot, I would probably get a better pump just because I feel like mine doesn't suck that well. And I also think that I have a really good supply and I don't have a hard time making milk or anything. So when I do pump, I get plenty of output. It works for me. But if I was pumping all the time, I would probably get a better pump. So the Mom Cozy works, and I only use it on occasion. Like if I'm traveling, I just like flew to Toronto and I could have it in the airport. I love that it's wireless. I love that it works on the battery, and it moves plenty of milk for me. Like I'll get 4 or 5 ounces per boob, which is a ton, and I think I just like produce a lot of milk. That's why I have a really fat baby. But if you plan on pumping a lot, I would probably get a better pump. You can definitely get one through insurance. Also, you're definitely gonna want a manual hand pump. I find that that is so helpful, especially when you're first engorged and if you ever like just need to quickly pump out some milk. Sometimes you'll have such a supply that your milk will literally spray out and choke the baby when they first start eating, and so that's good too. All right, also I would look up how to actually breastfeed, like the different positions beforehand. Look up the C-hold so you can get an idea of how to actually shove the boob in their mouth. All right, some other little things about breastfeeding is you're gonna need like milk storage bags. I don't know why I didn't have those ahead of time. I tried like the ice tray that's like 1 ounce cubes. Just get the storage bags. Only bag them in about like 3 to 4 ounces because your baby should never really eat more than 3 to 4 ounces. It's not that they should never, it's just that breastfed babies, this is only for breastfed babies, eat about 1 ounce an hour. So if it's been 3 hours since they've last ate, they'll eat about 3 ounces. If you keep them on this type of schedule, then they shouldn't need more milk than about 1 ounce per hour the whole time that they're breastfeeding. I know this is not always the case, like Roan freaking chugs it down, but we don't really bottle feed unless I'm gone. It's not the same for everyone, but that's what they recommend because they can get used to drinking more milk, and they will drink more milk, but they should only need about 1 ounce an hour. And so you want to freeze it in smaller portions because once you unfreeze it, you only have so long before you can use that milk, which they will tell you at the hospital, all that stuff. I'm not going to get into those little details. YouTube that, and someone else will get into it for you. The biggest thing I want to say is do not stress about your supply and how much your baby is getting. As long as your baby is gaining weight and eating at the boob, then you are making plenty of milk for your baby. Just feed them on demand, feed them when they're fussy, feed them when they're crying, and you'll make enough milk. You don't need to stress about how much milk the baby's getting or anything like that as long as they are gaining weight and they are happy. Once again, how much you pump is not a direct correlation to how much your baby is receiving. Okay, I think that's everything I have written down, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer your guys' questions really fast. What supplies do I need to buy before a baby? There really is not much that a baby needs, and I'm gonna do a whole nother video on this on what I put on my registry and what I actually use. I think I'm gonna do that next. But what you need before baby is literally you need a place to set them down, a varying number of sizes because you don't know how big your baby's gonna come out of clothes. But honestly, those first few days, those first few weeks, you should just have a naked baby in a diaper and have them skin to skin as much as possible. Like, skin to skin is gold. It will make you produce milk. It will comfort the baby. It will regulate their body temperature. Just skin to skin is so important. So do not get obsessed in outfits, and do not buy cute outfits for when they are in newborn sizes. You will not use those whatsoever. Does Roan take bottles and still nurse? So I basically just breastfeed all the time unless I am gone. And so I'd never leave him really, because we don't have any family here, so I have him all day, every day, unless I'm going like on a trip. So I have left him twice for weekend trips. He has no problem taking a bottle. He definitely like misses the boob, but he will take the bottle and feed that way. So we use the Dr. Brown's Preemie nipple bottle, and I've heard that that is best for breastfed babies. And even though it's a preemie bottle, he's 6 months old, I still use that bottle, because you don't want to use a bottle that has a fast flow, because then baby will get used to drinking a lot more milk than the boob can provide. And so you want a slow release bottle like the Dr. Brown's Preemie bottle, which we love and use, and he took to no problem. This is not always the case. You might have to try a couple different kinds, but you definitely want a nipple that is very slow releasing, where they have to work for it and it doesn't just fall out of the nipple. Okay, how frequently do you breastfeed? How much at night? What's the longest you go between feedings? So like I said, I feed on demand, which just literally means I watch my baby, and when he seems like he's hungry or fussy, I feed him. In the beginning stages, sometimes that's every 30 minutes, sometimes that's every hour, sometimes that's every 3 hours. If I go out and about with him, sometimes it's 4 to 5 hours in between a feeding. Probably not 4 to 5 hours. Probably at most like 4 hours. Whenever he's hungry, I feed him. So the first month I had him in a bedside bassinet that doesn't have the side, which I highly recommend. I love my bassinet. It's in my Amazon storefront. I absolutely love it. I put him in there every night between feedings, and he would feed every 2 to 3 hours or more. I mean, babies aren't going to sleep through the night. Like, that's just not what's going to happen. Don't expect it, right, buddy? Don't expect it. And so, yeah, I would feed him whenever he woke up. And after about a month, I kept falling asleep while feeding him in bed, sitting up. And that felt really dangerous, and it was really scary, because I couldn't stay awake while sitting up and feeding him. I would fall asleep while I was holding him, and literally would wake up and he'd be like flopped over on the side of me. And that's why they say, don't sleep with your baby in your bed. What's what not to do? I couldn't stay awake. I just couldn't. Like, I fall asleep so easily. And so I started co-sleeping properly, and this was so much safer. So I feel like this is what a lot of moms go through. When they're that tiny though, it would be scary to co-sleep. I don't know, I might do it for the next baby, but ever since around a month, probably a month and a half, we've been co-sleeping, and I just follow the Safe Sleep 7, which is so much safer than falling asleep sitting up in bed trying to feed your baby, because you are not in the right position. They say to only co-sleep if you're breastfeeding, because they have like an internal primal bond where they're going to keep their nose turned towards your breast. You sleep in like a C position with your like arm up, so it's impossible for you to roll over on them. And then anytime they wake up, like, I still co-sleep like this, and Roan still wakes up and he will just start suckling on my boob and eating and just put himself back to sleep. I love co-sleeping. I'm a big believer in it. If you're going to do it safely, you cannot drink, you cannot do any drugs, you can't do anything that would hinder your sleep experience. Your body will instinctively wake up as long as you're following all of the safety guidelines. You don't want to have a ton of pillows and blankets in your bed, just like a light sheet. You're not going to cover the baby up. You're just going to have them in like an outfit that keeps them warm enough. And so if you look up Safe Sleep 7 for co-sleeping, people in other countries and since the beginning of time, people have slept with their babies. And I found it a lot safer than trying to wake up, put him on the boob, stay awake, burp him after, change his diaper, put him back in the bassinet. It was just, I could not stay awake. And so once I switched to co-sleeping, it was no problem. I didn't sleep through the night, but I would literally wake up for a second, he'd be on the boob, I'd fall back asleep, he'd fall back asleep. I never once had anything as scary as when I fell asleep with him sitting up in my lap, because baby's already laying flat on their side. So are you. You feed him while you're laying on your side. And so if that is something you're worried about, or if you've ever been interested in co-sleeping, I would definitely just do your own research. But it definitely has worked for us, and I've loved it. And it felt much safer than waking up to your baby flipped upside down because you fell asleep while you're feeding them. Have you learned any secrets for sore nipples? Put on your nipple cream, put on your nipple cream. I'm not like a big spender, so I didn't get like any of those ice packs for your boobs or like heat packs, but looking back, and for next baby, I will probably do that because, man, it hurts. It hurts. Put on your nipple cream after every single feeding. Okay, the last one is, how do you handle drops in your supply? And I don't think this is really a big thing unless you're doing something drastically different. The only drop in supply that a lot of people fear is like around 6 to 8 weeks, your milk is going to regulate and your boobs are going to get smaller and you're not going to get engorged as much, and you're going to think you're not making enough milk, but really your body has just regulated how much milk your baby needs based off of how much you've been feeding them in the last 6 weeks. And so your supply hasn't dropped, it's regulated. So I wouldn't worry about that. If your baby is gaining weight and he is happy and he is eating, you're making enough milk for your baby. If you're exclusively pumping, this is where it gets harder because you're only getting the output that you get with the pump. And again, the output you get with the pump is not the same as what your baby eats from the breast, because your baby is much more efficient than a pump is. So if you're concerned, talk to your doctor, talk to a lactation consultant, but most of the time, if your baby's gaining weight and they're happy, you're making enough milk for your baby. Okay, I just posted one more question box right before I filmed this, so I'll just answer these questions real quick. Bra recommendations. Who's that? Who's that? Say, I got 2 teethers coming in on my bottom teeth and they probably hurt a little bit. I got 2 teeth. I got 2 teeth. Okay, anyways. I have a Kinder Bravely bra. That one's really comfortable. You're just really not going to want anything with an underwire. It's just so uncomfortable, and you can feel like your milk is not in the right position when you have underwire there. And so I have the Target Auden bra. I use that one too. I have the Momanda ones from that you see on TikTok. They're pretty nice, but the sizing is really hard to get right. And so just try it. You're going to have to try out different ones. You're going to need different sizes depending on the time that how postpartum you are, if your milk's regulated, if you're pregnant. So you're gonna have to try different ones, but the comfortable ones, the ones you're gonna wear the most, I bought 5 because every day they're gonna get full of milk and every day you're gonna get spit up on. How often do you feed throughout the night? And if Roan sleeps through the night, do you pump? Because your boobs are gonna explode. And the answer is Mr. Rony Boy has never once slept throughout the night. That's just not a thing that really happens, right, buddy? So Roan does not sleep through the night. He has never once slept through the whole night without waking up. And I don't expect him to do that. Like, he is a baby, and it's very, very normal for them to wake up throughout the night. Think of yourself as an adult, how many times you wake up throughout the night. So I don't have that expectation of him sleeping through the night, but also since I co-sleep, it is so easy. It's not like I'm not getting any sleep. There's no hassle. I don't mind it at all. I don't get anxious before I go to bed. That first month, I was so anxious before bed because you're literally up all night. You're worried you're not going to get any sleep. You're probably not going to get any sleep, and so it can be really difficult. But ever since I started co-sleeping, which I know isn't for everyone, but just know that there are ways to do it safely. Ever since co-sleeping, literally waking up in the middle of the night is like 20 seconds of moving his body closer to my boob so he can find it in the dark, and he starts eating and I go back to sleep. It's really, I love it. I love it. I've been sleeping great ever since. I feel so rested and everything is great. Does not sleep the whole night through. Although my mom watched him this weekend and said that he didn't take a bottle all night, which is awesome. That's what I figured. And also, since he is breastfed and we do co-sleep, he is just instinctively going to be attracted to your boob and to your breast milk, and so that's why he suckles at night or goes to get a drink just to soothe himself back to sleep, which I have no problem with. Some moms are not going to be comfortable with this, and they feel overwhelmed by how attached their baby is to them, and that is okay too. There's 1,000 million different ways to parent, and this is not the right way. This is just what works for me, and you have to find what works well for you. So I was away from him this past weekend, and I did not wake up to pump in the middle of the night, and my boobs were just full in the morning, and I would pump then. It was only 2 nights, and so I didn't feel scared about regulating my supply. Also, you can tell, so right before I left for this trip, I had to pump a lot because I needed to stock up milk to be gone. And so since I was pumping every day and feeding, then my supply increased. So you can tell 2 to 3 days after a change in rhythm that your supply will change, and I was producing way more. Also, letdown is a thing that I haven't talked about, but letdown is you can literally feel the milk coming down out of your boob. I was talking about it this weekend with some mom friends, and it literally feels like a magnet is like sucking all the milk down and out of your nipple. For me, it's kind of painful. It's not like nothing serious or anything, but I don't like the feeling of it, and so just know that that's something, is your milk let down, and then usually soon after you feel it, your boobs will start leaking. And so that is something that happens also. But I did not pump throughout the night, even though he will still feed throughout the night. I don't think he feeds much throughout the night. It's just him like suckling and soothing himself back to sleep. All right, and then essentials for breastfeeding was the last question. And honestly, the most essential thing is patience. Oh, I think he doesn't feel good because of his little teethers are coming in. So postpartum essentials are comfortable nursing bra, nipple cream of any sort, something that works for you. You're going to want a handheld manual pump, a pump if you plan to pump, milk storage bags, maybe like ice pack or a heating pad for your boobs because they're going to really, really hurt. Take hot showers, massage your boobs, get comfortable with yourself. At first, I got one of those apps to like track how much they ate, what time, which boob, but in reality, if you're listening to your baby and listening to your body, you will know which boob they ate off last because the other one will be huge. Also, this I didn't say, you're supposed to do like each boob for a certain amount of time, and that's the proper way to do it. But for me, what worked was just feeding off of one boob and the next feeding off the other boob. And so, yeah. Also, when you first have a baby, they are going to want to sleep every single time you put a boob in their mouth, and you have to try to keep them awake. So you gotta get them naked, play with their feet, play with their ears, it's gonna be so hard to keep them awake to eat, but you just have to, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta keep them awake, talk to them, get them naked, you know, keep them a little stimulated, and so it's a little tough, but it gets easier as they get older and are awake more often. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that was helpful. I hope I got out everything that I wanted to tell you. I answered all your questions. The biggest thing is listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your baby. Find what works best for you. It's going to be different for every single person, every single mom, every single lifestyle. You have to do the research for yourself though, because the doctors are somewhat going to scare you. Sadly, that's just the case. They were telling me of like people who killed their babies by sleeping with them and like all these things that can go wrong. So don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But you need to do your own research. You need to get multiple opinions, and you need to do what is best for you, which might not be any of this. You might be like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't like that. And that's fine. You just have to pick and choose what works best for you, for your lifestyle, and to make a happy baby for you. The less you can stress, the better. That is my biggest advice to moms, because so many moms are stressed about their supply, if their baby's getting enough, and most of the time, you're all right. So just, you got this. You got this. You can do this. It is hard. It is very hard. Your baby is completely, completely relying on you. And that's just how it goes. That's nature. That's how it goes. Mommies are for the babies. The babies are for the mummies. Ask for help. Ask for help when you need it. Find a lactation consultant. Talk to other moms. My messages are open. You can always come talk to me. Find resources that are helpful, Instagram, books, YouTube videos. Use it all to your advantage. And we're gonna go Rocky or go stick something cold in your mouth because I think your little teethers are hurting you, buddy. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have any more, don't be afraid to comment down below or message me. Literally, I'm an open book, as you can tell. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not. If you have any other video recommendations, also leave them in the comments down below. I'm here to help. I think I'm going to do a baby registry list next of what I actually used and what I didn't use and all that. So anyways, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see ya next time.